Even with inflation rising, the nation's unemployment rate keeps falling. The Labor Department reports that the number of people without a job is at a historic low.
Federal and state lawmakers, prosecutors, and of course, groups fighting against human trafficking.
Las Vegas, the city of neon dreams, promises fortune, indulgence, and escape, but its dazzling lights mask the dark side of Las Vegas. Shaped by corruption, exploitation, and shattered illusions, the city tells a tale of contrasts. From its mob-built foundations to modern scandals, environmental crises, and human suffering, Las Vegas isn't just a city of lights, it's a city of shadows. And sometimes, those shadows reveal the real story, the mafia legacy. Beneath the neon brilliance of Las Vegas lies a history darker than the deepest blackjack table losses. A past where the mafia didn't just influence the city, it built it. Let's rewind to the 1940s when Benjamin Bugsy Siegel saw Nevada's legalized gambling as a jackpot waiting to be claimed. Siegel didn't dream small. His Flamingo Hotel wasn't just another casino, it was a palace of opulence designed to dazzle the elite. But brilliance came at a price. Ballooning costs and mismanaged funds led to Siegel's infamous assassination in 1947, a reminder that in the mob's world, loyalty often ended at the barrel of a gun. The success of the Flamingo lit a fire under mobsters across the country. By the 1950s, the Chicago outfit turned Las Vegas into its playground. Skimming wasn't just a side hustle, it was the backbone of mob profits. The Stardust Casino, under Frank Lefty Rosenthal's management, became a money laundering machine. Rosenthal's reign inspired Martin Scorsese's Casino, but the real-life drama was grittier, culminating in a failed car bombing that left Rosenthal shaken but alive. Chaos reigned under enforcers like Tony the Ant Spilotro, whose hole-in-the-wall gang unleashed havoc on Las Vegas. By 1986, Spilotro's violent antics caught up with him. His lifeless body, riddled with bullets, was dumped in an Indiana cornfield. His grisly end marked the decline of the mob era. As the mafia tightened its grip, federal pressure mounted. The 1950s Kefauver hearings exposed the rot beneath Vegas's glamour, but it wasn't until the RICO Act of the 1970s that the government truly struck back. By the 1980s, mobsters were replaced by corporate CEOs, and Vegas began its transformation into the entertainment capital we know today. Still, the echoes of the mafia linger. The Mob Museum stands as a chilling reminder of organized crime's role in shaping the city. And while Vegas may have traded mob bosses for shareholders, whispers of shadowy dealings remind us that its foundations are steeped in secrets. Vegas might shine brighter than ever, but its darkest chapters are impossible to forget. Because in a city built on crime, the shadows are never far behind. Gambling addiction. As the mob's grip on Las Vegas faded, a new force took its place, one just as destructive but harder to trace: gambling addiction. In the city of endless neon and unrelenting noise, where fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye, addiction thrives in the shadows. Las Vegas, often celebrated as a gambler's paradise, hides a darker truth. Studies show that nearly 19% of Nevada gamblers are at high risk of problem gambling, one of the highest rates in the country. But why does this happen here, more than anywhere else? Accessibility is a major factor. With casinos operating 24/7 and slot machines seemingly at every turn, the city ensures temptation is unavoidable. Add to that the glamorization of high-stakes gambling, from glossy advertisements to celebrity endorsements, and it's no wonder that many find themselves spiraling into addiction. In Las Vegas, gambling is more than entertainment. It's ingrained in the city's identity. The consequences are devastating. Financial ruin is often the first casualty, with life savings drained and insurmountable debt piling up. But the damage doesn't stop at the wallet. Families fracture under the weight of betrayal as addicts hide losses and chase wins that never come. Depression, anxiety, and hopelessness become constant companions. Some turn to crime, embezzlement, theft, or worse to sustain their compulsion. Consider Terrence Watanabe, a once wealthy businessman whose $127 million losses in Vegas became infamous. Casinos catered to his addiction, ensuring his every whim was met while he gambled his fortune away. His story is a stark reminder of how profit often trumps ethics in this city of excess. And then there's Charles Barkley, the NBA legend who candidly admitted to losing $25 million of gambling, much of it in Las Vegas. Barkley spoke openly of the regret and depression that followed each massive loss, underscoring that addiction spares no one, regardless of wealth or fame. But the most haunting stories come from everyday people. Take Tony McDew, whose slot machine addiction left him jobless, homeless, and utterly destitute. His tragic downfall echoes the struggles of countless others who came to Vegas with dreams and left with despair. Efforts like treatment centers and Gamblers Anonymous offer lifelines, but challenges remain. Stigma prevents many from seeking help, and the city's pervasive gambling culture makes recovery an uphill battle. Casinos, despite regulations, often look the other way, prioritizing profits over prevention. In Las Vegas, the line between thrill and tragedy is razor thin. The city markets itself as a place where dreams come true, but for many, it's where nightmares begin. Gambling may keep Vegas alive, but it comes at an unimaginable cost, a cost often paid in broken lives and shattered dreams. Sex work and human trafficking. Las Vegas dazzles with promises of indulgence, but beyond the lights and luxury lies a chilling reality. For many, this city is not a land of freedom, but a trap, where lives are consumed by the harrowing worlds of sex work and human trafficking. Though prostitution is illegal in Clark County, it's alarmingly prevalent. A staggering 90% of Nevada's prostitution occurs in Las Vegas, generating an estimated $5 billion annually. The FBI has named Vegas among the top US cities for child prostitution, with local police rescuing approximately 400 children from trafficking every year. The numbers alone paint a bleak picture, but the deeper story is even more disturbing. Vegas's tourism-driven economy fuels the demand for commercial sex, with 24/7 entertainment and the promise of no rules creating a constant market. Economic vulnerability plays a significant role. Financial desperation often pushes individuals into exploitation. The legal patchwork in Nevada compounds the problem. While prostitution is banned in Clark County, it's legal in rural areas, creating loopholes that traffickers exploit to blur the lines between legality and crime. The human cost is devastating. Victims of trafficking and sex work face physical abuse, psychological trauma, and manipulation that erodes their autonomy. Traffickers often use coercion and violence to trap their victims, leaving them isolated and dependent. Even for those who escape, the scars remain. Societal stigma, legal battles, and limited support systems make recovery a steep climb. Take Jessica K, who believed she was in a loving relationship with her trafficker. Instead, she was coerced into earning a $2,500 daily quota, her life controlled at every turn. Her escape began in an unlikely place, a classroom, where she learned to identify the manipulation she'd endured. Today, she advocates for other victims, proving that awareness can be the first step toward freedom. Annie Lobert endured over a decade under a trafficker's control, subjected to violence and psychological torment. Her eventual escape inspired her to found Hookers for Jesus, a non-profit dedicated to helping women leave the sex industry and rebuild their lives. But not all stories end with recovery. Angela Williams, after a 15-year ordeal spanning multiple cities, fled after a brutal beating. Her journey, documented in Surviving Sex Trafficking, is a haunting reminder of the scars left behind. Efforts to combat trafficking are growing. Organizations like the Southern Nevada Human Trafficking Task Force and NGOs like FREE International and Hookers for Jesus provide vital support for victims and aim to dismantle trafficking networks. Stricter laws have increased penalties for traffickers and expanded resources for survivors. Yet, challenges persist. Fear of retaliation, distrust of authorities, and the ever-present demand for commercial sex leave many victims trapped in the cycle of exploitation. Vegas's shimmering facade hides a brutal truth. For some, the city of dreams becomes a city of nightmares. Solving this crisis demands more than enforcement. It requires empathy, systemic reform, and a collective commitment to ensuring no one is forgotten in the shadows of the city's bright lights. Homelessness. On the surface, Las Vegas dazzles with its glittering lights and towering casinos, but beneath its opulence lies a stark reality, a growing homelessness crisis that's impossible to ignore. While fortunes are made and lost on the Strip, over 7,900 individuals in Las Vegas face a daily battle for survival, a 20% increase from the previous year. The roots of this crisis run deep. Housing costs in Las Vegas have surged by 40% since 2016, pushing even middle-income families to the brink. Paired with stagnant wages and rising inflation, the cost of living has outpaced what many can afford. The city's rapid population growth, fueled in part by migration from neighboring California, has only intensified the demand for affordable housing, creating a perfect storm of economic disparity. But homelessness in Las Vegas isn't just a statistic, it's etched into the city's landscape. Just steps away from luxury hotels and bustling casinos, sprawling encampments form makeshift communities. Beneath the city, in its labyrinth of flood tunnels, hundreds of people have sought refuge from the streets. These tunnels, designed to channel flash floods, now serve as an underground world of survival. Life in the tunnels is fraught with danger. Residents, often referred to as mole people, live in constant fear of sudden floods that can turn their fragile homes into deadly torrents. Their belongings are stacked high, ever prepared for disaster. For many, the tunnels offer relative safety compared to the violence and vulnerability of street life above. Addiction, isolation, and violence are daily struggles in this subterranean existence. Amid this bleak reality, glimmers of hope emerge. Some tunnel residents, like those who experienced near-fatal beatings, found a way out and now work with the Shine a Light Foundation. This organization provides food, water, and support, helping others escape the darkness beneath the city. Above ground, the homelessness crisis sparks heated debates. Clark County's controversial 2024 ordinance banning camping in public rights-of-way aims to address safety concerns, but has drawn criticism for criminalizing homelessness rather than tackling its root causes. Shelters and organizations like the Just One Project work tirelessly to provide aid, but resources are stretched thin. The pandemic further exacerbated the problem, reducing shelter capacities and disrupting outreach efforts. Efforts to build affordable housing are underway but face challenges. The city's thriving tourism industry, while generating billions, often leaves low-wage workers struggling to make ends meet. This economic imbalance traps many in a cycle of poverty with few paths to stability. Even amid these hardships, stories of resilience shine through. Organizations like Shine a Light and the Just One Project continue to fight for the city's most vulnerable, bringing hope to those left behind. But the divide between the dazzling strip and the lives of Las Vegas's homeless remains vast. The city may sell itself as a beacon of opportunity, but for thousands, it's a battleground for survival. One fought in the shadows of its brightest lights. Environmental issues. Las Vegas thrives on the promise of indulgence and excess, but sustaining this desert spectacle comes at an extraordinary environmental cost. Beneath the glowing skyline and endless entertainment lies a battle against nature that's growing harder to ignore. And at the heart of it all is water, or the desperate lack of it. Las Vegas, perched in the Mojave Desert, relies almost entirely on the Colorado River and its primary reservoir, Lake Mead. Once a symbol of abundance, Lake Mead is now a grim reminder of scarcity. Years of overuse and prolonged drought have pushed water levels to historic lows, revealing ghostly structures and even human remains. While the city has implemented measures like wastewater reclamation and bans on using Colorado River water for new golf courses, these efforts are dwarfed by the growing demand for water. In a place where the desert itself seems inhospitable, the strain on resources has never been greater. But water is just one piece of this environmental puzzle. Las Vegas holds the title of the fastest warming city in the United States, with average temperatures climbing nearly 6 degrees Fahrenheit since 1970. This isn't just a problem of sweltering summers, it's the urban heat island effect at its peak, concrete and asphalt trap heat pushing daytime highs past 110 degrees Fahrenheit. The result? Heat waves are more frequent and more deadly, especially for the city's most vulnerable populations, including the elderly and the homeless. Efforts like planting trees and designing buildings with reflective materials are steps in the right direction, but they lag behind the escalating threat posed by rising temperatures. Even the city's air and water carry hidden dangers. Rapid growth has brought with it vehicle emissions and industrial pollutants that darken the skies and pose serious health risks. For residents, this means higher rates of respiratory problems, particularly among children and the elderly. And Lake Mead, already struggling with water levels, faces contamination from forever chemicals, toxins linked to cancer and other severe health issues. These substances resist breakdown, raising troubling questions about the long-term safety of the city's water supply. Then, there's the irony of flooding in a city so desperate for water. When rain does come, it often arrives in violent bursts, overwhelming infrastructure and causing chaos. In 2022, flash floods turned the strip into a surreal waterway, with torrents rushing through casino floors and parking garages. For a city plagued by drought, these sudden deluges are both a relief and a disaster. The environmental challenges facing Las Vegas extend beyond local borders. Its struggles mirror a broader global crisis. a fight between human ambition and the limits of nature. The glittering facade of the Strip, with its endless lights and luxury, depends on a fragile balance that is increasingly tipping toward collapse. If Las Vegas is to maintain its identity as an oasis of indulgence, it must act decisively. From addressing its insatiable water use to curbing pollution and mitigating rising temperatures, the city's survival hinges on sustainability. Beneath the glow of the neon lights, the desert is speaking. The question is, will Las Vegas listen before it's too late? Crime and violence. Las Vegas is a city built on high stakes and that extends far beyond the casino floors. Beneath the neon-lit allure lies a persistent struggle with crime and violence, an issue as deeply ingrained in the city's fabric as its reputation for indulgence. In 2022, crime in Las Vegas surged by 10%, reversing years of gradual declines. Property crimes dominate, with residents facing a 1 in 33 chance of falling victim to offenses like burglary or motor vehicle theft, a category where Las Vegas ranks among the nation's highest. Violent crime casts an even darker shadow. Residents have a 1 in 193 chance of encountering aggravated assault, robbery, or homicide. Behind these numbers lie devastating stories, each a testament to the human toll of crime. Consider the case of Brandon Durham, who was tragically killed in November 2024 during a 911 response to a home invasion. Mistaken for a threat by responding officers, Durham's death reignited debates about police protocols and the razor-thin line between safety and tragedy. Then there's Monique Gilbertson, whose body was discovered in her freezer after weeks of voicing fears about her ex-roommate. Her chilling story underscores the dangers lurking in personal relationships, where trust can become a weapon. And in another senseless act of violence, Shauna McCowan, a 43-year-old mother, was struck by a stray bullet during a drive-by shooting. Innocent lives like McCowan's are often the collateral damage of youth violence fueled by desperation and insufficient intervention resources. Even tourists, lured by the city's promises of excitement, aren't immune. In one instance, an Australian visitor was drugged and robbed of $2,300 after being deceived by people posing as security guards. Such incidents are grim reminders that the city's vibrant energy can quickly turn into danger for the unprepared. But perhaps no event has left a deeper scar on Las Vegas than the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. On October 1, 2017, the city witnessed the deadliest mass shooting in US history. A gunman opened fire from his hotel room, killing 60 people and injuring hundreds more. The tragedy not only shattered lives but also irrevocably altered the city's image as a safe haven for celebration. In its aftermath, the conversation around gun violence and public safety intensified, though systemic solutions remain elusive. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has made strides, implementing community policing and data-driven strategies to combat crime. However, challenges persist. Economic disparities, urban density, and the constant influx of tourists stretch law enforcement resources to their limits. Underreported crimes like domestic violence and a troubling reoffending rate highlight the need for deeper, systemic change. Las Vegas thrives on extremes, where fortunes and lives can change in an instant. Its struggle with crime and violence is a stark reminder that the city's dazzling lights often cast the deepest shadows. Behind the glitz lies a sobering reality. The stakes in Las Vegas aren't just high, they're life-altering. Exploitation of workers. Las Vegas may dazzle with its promises of opportunity, but for many workers, the reality is far from glamorous. Beneath the city's shimmering facade lies a workforce grappling with exploitation, unsafe conditions, and a constant fight for fairness. In November 2024, over 700 hospitality workers at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas went on strike, the first open-ended action by the Culinary Workers Union in over 2 decades. These housekeepers, porters, and servers demanded higher wages and better benefits, exposing a stark truth. While the hospitality industry generates billions, its frontline workers struggle to make ends meet. Negotiations stalled over pay disparities, leaving workers to bear the weight of rising living costs while their employers thrived in luxury. Wage theft is another shadowy reality in Las Vegas. In September 2024, Colvin Construction Inc. was ordered to pay $550,000 in back wages to over 600 employees who were denied overtime and proper compensation. Cases like these reveal a troubling trend, particularly in the construction industry, where low-wage and immigrant workers are frequently exploited. Many undocumented laborers face withheld pay, sub-minimum wages, and abusive conditions, silenced by the looming threat of deportation. For others, the battle is about more than wages, it's about safety. In 2017, housekeepers across the city united to demand protections against harassment and assault by hotel guests. Their campaign led to reforms like panic buttons and enhanced safety protocols, but only after years of enduring silent danger. Such stories highlight the hidden risks faced by workers who maintain the illusion of effortless hospitality for millions of visitors each year. Immigrant workers, who form the backbone of Las Vegas's service and construction sectors, face unique vulnerabilities. Many hesitate to report abuse, fearing retaliation or deportation. Programs like Deferred Action for Labor Enforcement offer some relief, providing work permits to immigrants who report labor violations. However, these efforts remain limited, unable to address the systemic scale of exploitation. Despite these challenges, workers continue to fight for justice. In 2024, dancers at Chippendales voted to unionize, citing inadequate health benefits and unfair compensation for their likenesses. Their victory, while modest, signaled progress in the broader struggle for fair treatment. Collaborative efforts between the U.S. Department of Labor and Nevada's Labor Commissioner have also led to increased investigations into wage theft, holding some employers accountable. Yet, systemic issues persist. Employers frequently resist unionization, and widespread underreporting of abuse, driven by fear and lack of awareness, remains a barrier. Enforcement agencies are stretched thin, unable to monitor workplaces comprehensively or ensure justice for exploited workers. Las Vegas thrives on the labor of its hospitality and service workers, yet their contributions often go unnoticed and undervalued. Their stories of resilience, advocacy, and hope stand in stark contrast to the luxury and opulence of the Strip. Beneath the city's bright lights lies a workforce demanding recognition, fairness, and a future where opportunity isn't just a promise, but a reality, the mirage of wealth. Las Vegas thrives on an illusion, the promise of instant riches, luxury, and boundless opportunity. Visitors are greeted by sparkling resorts and the relentless allure of life-changing jackpots, where fortunes seem just to spin or roll away. But beneath the city's dazzling facade lies a harsh truth. This mirage of wealth has left countless lives in its wake. The odds of hitting it big in Vegas are vanishingly small, but the city hides this reality behind the carefully curated image of oversized checks and jackpot winners. For every lucky gambler who leaves with millions, thousands walk away broke, burdened by the crushing realization that the house always wins. And it's not just tourists who fall victim to this illusion. Las Vegas residents, too, are trapped in a web of economic inequality that the city's glittering image conceals. Nevada ranks 4th in the nation for income inequality, with the wealthiest 1% capturing the lion's share of income growth. While the Strip exudes extravagance, nearly 15% of Las Vegas residents live below the poverty line, struggling to afford basic necessities. Rising housing costs have only deepened this divide. Since 2021, home prices have soared by 50%, while single-family rental rates have climbed nearly 70%. Meanwhile, wages in the service-driven economy remain stagnant, leaving many families teetering on the edge of financial ruin. The pressure to maintain appearances in a city that celebrates opulence is relentless. For residents working in hospitality and entertainment, the presence of celebrities and luxury brands creates an unspoken expectation to live beyond their means. Some take on crushing debt in an attempt to emulate the lifestyle they see around them, fueling a cycle of consumption that benefits the city while leaving individuals in financial despair. Others are simply priced out of comfort, unable to keep up with the ever-rising cost of living. This mirage takes a profound psychological toll. Visitors and locals alike are bombarded with images of success and affluence, cultivating an atmosphere where anything less feels like failure. For some, this drives risky behaviors, overspending, gambling, or accumulating debt in pursuit of the dream that Las Vegas sells so well. What the city rarely shows is the aftermath. Families left bankrupt, individuals sinking into depression, and a growing underclass struggling to survive. Efforts to address these disparities exist but face an uphill battle. Affordable housing initiatives offer a glimmer of hope, but demand continues to far exceed supply. Economic diversification is slowly underway, with efforts to expand industries beyond tourism. Organizations like the Just One Project provide critical support to those in need, but their impact is limited compared to the scale of the problem. Las Vegas markets itself as a city of wealth and opportunity, but for many, it's a fleeting illusion. Beneath the neon glow and champagne-soaked promises lies a sobering reality. The city that offers everything often takes far more than it gives, leaving broken dreams in its wake. As the bright lights continue to shine, the question lingers. What price are we willing to pay to maintain the mirage? Scammers, scandals, and cover-ups. Las Vegas shines brightly, but beneath its neon glow lies a darker reality, a city shaped by scandals, scams, and cover-ups. Here, ambition and deception walk hand in hand, weaving a complicated legacy that tarnishes its glittering reputation. One of the most infamous political scandals in the city's history was Operation G-Sting, or Strippergate, which unfolded in the early 2000s. An FBI investigation exposed a web of corruption involving Clark County commissioners and San Diego City Council members who accepted bribes from strip club owners desperate to overturn restrictive, no-touch laws. The fallout was seismic. 17 individuals, including Commissioners Mary Kincaid Chauncey and Lance Malone, were convicted and sent to prison. The scandal revealed the deep entanglement of organized crime and local politics, shaking public confidence in the system. Corruption extended beyond politics. In the 1990s, Ronald Dale Harris, a programmer for the Nevada Gaming Control Board, orchestrated a sophisticated slot machine scam. By manipulating software, Harris ensured machines paid out when specific coin sequences were entered, exploiting the very system he was tasked to protect. His scheme, uncovered after years of undetected payouts, raised serious questions about insider access and vulnerabilities in an industry built on trust. Financial deception is another enduring theme. In 2022, attorney Matthew Beasley orchestrated a $460 million Ponzi scheme, defrauding over 600 investors by promising returns on fake, slip and fall settlements. The money funded his gambling debts and lavish lifestyle, leaving victims financially shattered. This scandal underscores the risks of lax oversight in a city synonymous with high stakes and easy money. Casinos themselves aren't immune to scams or controversy. In 2023, a group of fraudsters impersonated executives to authorize large cash withdrawals, exposing gaping holes in security protocols. Even industry giants like Wynn Resorts and Resorts World Las Vegas have faced scrutiny. Wynn Resorts settled allegations in 2024 by paying $130 million after allowing unlicensed money transfer operations to launder funds, while Resorts World faced an investigation for enabling illegal sports betting tied to organized crime. These incidents highlight the precarious balance between glamour and illegality in the gambling world. Scams targeting tourists are equally pervasive. Street performers demand exorbitant tips for photos. Fake ticket sellers leave visitors stranded with invalid passes, while rigged sidewalk gambling games promise easy wins but quickly empty wallets. Even necessities like bottled water are sold at outrageous prices, preying on unsuspecting tourists in the desert heat. Charity scams and shady hotel upgrade offers only add to the list, transforming what should be dream vacations into nightmares. The psychological toll is significant. Tourists often leave Las Vegas feeling betrayed, their dreams of indulgence and fortune replaced by disillusionment. For locals, these scandals and scams are part of the city's identity, a mix of ambition and deception that mirrors the highs and lows of its gambling tables. Regulatory bodies and law enforcement agencies work tirelessly to address these issues, but the sheer volume of schemes underscores the difficulty of maintaining order in a city built on indulgence and risk. Las Vegas thrives on its ability to sell fantasy, but its shadows are impossible to ignore. From political corruption to scams targeting everyday tourists, the city's allure comes with a price. In a place where the stakes are always high, trust often becomes the first casualty. The house may always win, but in Las Vegas, it's not the only one profiting at others' expense. Las Vegas dazzles with its promises, but beneath the glitter lies a city shaped by contradictions, where dreams and deception coexist, and the cost of indulgence is often far greater than it seems.